If you look at a hurricane from above, you see a massive ring of winds tearing apart everything in its path. But right in the middle of that destruction sits a small pocket of perfect, motionless peace. That weather pattern mirrors what can happen when a complicated family falls apart at the end of a long life. The Australian writer Patrick White explored this idea in his 1973 novel, The Eye of the Storm. White was a master of examining the human spirit, a skill that earned him the Nobel Prize in Literature. His book suggests that when we face our final days, we cannot stop the chaos swirling around us. The only way to find peace is to locate that quiet center within ourselves. The story takes us to Sydney, Australia, in the 1970s. Elizabeth Hunter, a once formidable socialite, is now confined to her mansion after a stroke. The storm in Elizabeth's life begins the moment her estranged adult children fly back home to gather around her deathbed. Her son, Basil, has been struggling as an actor in London, while her daughter Dorothy is reeling from a failed marriage into European royalty. They haven't returned to comfort their mother. They are secretly plotting to move her into a nursing home so they can sell the estate and claim their inheritance early. Their greed and constant maneuvering act like the violent outer winds of a hurricane, battering the final days of Elizabeth's life. But Elizabeth is not a helpless victim. She remains a sharply intelligent woman who knows exactly how to handle her family. Even from her bed, she maintains emotional dominance, using her wit and a lifetime of manipulation to keep her children and her nurses off balance. The dynamic mirrors King Lear, a volatile parent locked in a bitter struggle with children who are only interested in what they can take. Yet beneath this bitter fighting, Elizabeth possesses a strange, profound sense of calm. Where does that internal stillness actually come from? It turns out her biting remarks are just a defense. Her true resilience relies on a reservoir of peace she discovered years ago. Elizabeth's mind often drifts back to a terrifying memory of being stranded on Brumby Island. While trapped at sea, she was caught in a massive typhoon. Walls of water crashed down around her in a roar of absolute chaos. But then her boat slipped through those violent winds and entered the literal eye of the storm, a space of complete silence and motionless air. In that silence, the noise and the desperate struggle to survive just fell away. She realized the outer winds were her pride and fears, while the center was what remained. By letting go of control, the terror vanished. The peace of the center held the chaos at bay. Surviving that typhoon changed her. It gave her an internal stillness she could return to whenever the world around her became too loud. Back in the Sydney mansion, the contrast between Elizabeth and her children is stark. Basil and Dorothy are still trapped in their own making, endlessly spinning in their greed and petty plotting over the money. They spend days near their dying mother, yet they walk away completely unchanged. Because they cannot detach from their own desires, the children remain trapped in the destructive gales of the storm. Elizabeth, however, rests in her mental eye of the storm as her death approaches. In her final moments, she lets go of her manipulative defenses and her need for control. She manages to pass a beautiful sense of this wisdom to her nurses, who are receptive to her humanity. We cannot stop the storms of life, nor can we ever control how the people around us behave. True survival requires finding our own quiet center, letting go of what we cannot change, and discovering peace within.